this is the final stages of this campaign. What we're here to do is let the mayor know that we want revenue to actually fund services, that we want revenue that is progressive, that it targets the right audience, the people who can afford to pay, and we want it substantial enough so that we aren't pitting services against each other.
Yeah.
I can't think of very many services that people are here to defend aren't worthwhile services. The city would like for us to just discuss. I know Amanda last time said that, well, if you're going to ask us what you want to save, tell us where we can cut. That's not a question that we should be asking people. What we should be asking people is, help us find ways to raise revenue to fund these programs. We can do that. You know, one thing that makes Portland unique is we haven't looked for local solutions for our local problems.
Exactly.
We haven't looked for a street maintenance fee to help pay for our streets. We haven't looked for some kind of operating levy for our parks.
Oh, yeah.
These are the things that we need to be asking, and we need to make sure we target the right people that can afford to pay. The ones who aren't paying their fair share today needs to be asked to pony up, get back on the payroll, get back in the tax rolls, and start paying your fair share. Because we've got some real human need here that has to be taken care of.
Oh, yeah.
And the people who've been currently paying have been taxed out. We understand that.
It's ridiculous.
We've got to give them tax relief while we turn around and put the Phil Knights and other people who've benefited the most from our society back into the tax rolls.
Well, how does a 10% cut, how does that fit into play? I've heard about this 10% cut plan that
Well, it's a 10% scenario. It's an exercise that he's going to ask you to take a 10% cut off your actual budgets from last year, the actuals, and then turn around and buy back what critical services you've cut in a priority of where you want it bought back at. It's an exercise, I understand, but we're waiting with bated breath to see what the mayor's going to come up with. Now, he promised in his campaign he was going to focus on services and focus on delivery of service.
Yeah.
And the frontline workers. We're going to try to hold him to that. We're going to try to have him look at, first of all, the first place he should look for savings is in his own bureaucracy. We've got a top-heavy city. The first step in saving money should be in the overhead costs of the city. And only when you wring that as tight as you can would you be justified in looking at the frontline services, because that impacts the community. Why would you want to look there first? You'd want to look for jobs that don't impact the community. And those are mainly in cost and overhead of the city. So what we want the mayor to do is look for his cuts where they belong. We got a span of control problem in the city of Portland. Our managers, on the average, only have 6 people they manage. They have 6 reports that they take as part of their job.
These are city managers.
They're city managers. Now the county has a 8-to-1. The state has 11-to-1. Now if they did nothing more but to move toward where the state is on their management, they could save millions of dollars in the city of Portland. We're not asking for a painful process. We're just asking for a rational process that's as rational as the state of Oregon already is doing. So we're asking the mayor, look at your overhead costs, figure out which ones are vital for delivery of services, which ones aren't, and make your cuts appropriately. That's all we're asking to do.
Exactly. Don't cut people in the public service sector. They're the
Don't punish the public.
And jobs in general. The post office thing is ridiculous. They're trying to save the Salem Mail facility, and it's going to happen more and more of those. Are just austerity cuts in general.
That's right. You can't cut your way to a better economy.
Yeah.
You got to build a better economy by putting demand back in it. That means you put people's paychecks. You make people's paychecks whole.
Yeah.
You want people buying products? Well, you're going to have to pay them a paycheck to get them to buy products. And so what we want to do is we only have a handful of living wage jobs left. A lot of them are concentrated in the city. We're not going to cut those as well, because once we get down that path, where do we end?
And the infrastructure starts failing. Everything.
Everything fails.
Upkeep and maintenance of the city.
That's exactly right. So that's my position.
My name is Juniper, and I am 6 years old. I am learning to swim at Freshman Pool, and it is the best pool ever. Last year I was and now I am a polar bear because you kept the pool open for kids like me. It is the only pool close to me, and my mommy can't drive. I love my teachers, Kim and Chelsea. And please keep the pool open. Thank you.
Joe and Bobby, boldly going where the corporate media won't.